many of them are continuing to go above and beyond outside of their day-to-day jobs.
Now, Lucy Duncan was driving home from a 12-hour shift as a nurse when her car was hit by a man who was struggling to breathe, and he told her he'd been self-isolating, he hadn't eaten for a week, and he thought he had the virus. So Lucy called an ambulance, went to A&E with him, and there she stayed with him for 5 hours. We can talk to her now. Lucy, thank you so much for talking to us this morning. I mean, we've just skimmed the details of the story of what happened. I mean, please tell us what happened in your words from the beginning.
So I was driving home from work. I'd worked a 12-hour shift and it was my 7th shift in a row. So anyway, I was driving home and a man crashed into my car, but then he drove off following that, which I was quite confused about. So I followed the car. He wasn't trying to speed off or anything like that, which obviously confused me as it would. So when I got to the car and I realised that it was an old man in the car, you know, I no longer felt that I was a risk of, you know, from the public. He opened the car door to me and he reached out to me to say, he grabbed hold of my arm and said that he thinks that he's got the coronavirus. He told me that he had been self-isolating and not ate for 7 to 10 days, and he had got in his car to go to the shop. He doesn't have any family or friends, and he'd gone to the shop to get some essentials, otherwise he knew that he would die if he didn't do that.
And this was a 73-year-old man, and just to reiterate, he'd self-isolated, he was doing the responsible thing, because he thought he had the virus, but he didn't have a support network. So he had to resort, because he'd run out of food, to go out and get this food, and was in no fit state. So once you saw him and he held your arm, what happened next?
So he told me that he thought that he had the coronavirus and he apologised to me. So I'd given reassurance, and luckily I had a mask in my car that I hadn't used. So I managed to put my mask on, and he had a mask with him that he also put on. So I spent some time with him. He said that he was going to ring an ambulance in the morning and that he would be okay, and he wanted to drive off home. But I told him that I was really concerned about him. He was having lucid moments, he was going kind of in and out of consciousness, his breathing was really poor, he had beads of sweat coming down his face, he was really not a well man.
So Lucy, have you been able to find out how he is? We're not naming him because of confidentiality concerns and privacy rights, but have you been able to find out how he is? He's in hospital now.
Yeah, so he's in hospital. I managed to get a message to him last night that I was asking about him, and I found out this morning that he passed away early hours this morning.
Oh Lucy, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I've had a little cry before I've come on the show.
Because I do understand that you had a deal with him, didn't you? That he'd make you a cup of coffee to say thank you.
Yeah, so I've got my cup of coffee here for him.
Oh, Lucy, I'm so sorry. Another person who succumbed to the virus, I tell you that I don't know if this will offer you any comfort. He had been alone for 7 to 10 days, and you held his hand, you held his arm, and you were with him after he'd not had any company, and you showed him some tenderness that he so obviously very much needed.
Yeah, and I know that he was also very fond of me. He was almost very surprised when I kept going back to him and I kept showing up. I had to go outside and take a phone call at the hospital to tell my family I was okay. And, you know, his eyes lit up every time that I went back and held his hand. It was amazing to be part of his life.
And Lucy, you were, and, you know, however brief, you were a very important part of his life for a brief moment in time. Nothing is going to make you feel better. As you say, you had a cry this morning, understandably so. But people would have heard what you did, and you put yourself at risk, and you made sure it's almost like you went back to the very roots of your career, you know, your nursing instincts. Your bosses say they are so proud of you, Lucy, and I can tell you right now, everyone watching here will be so impressed with you. And there is a message for you. I hope you can see this. I'll play this now, talk to you, and find out your reaction after.
She really is the most genuine, kind person, and the rest